Hey everyone, welcome back to Miss B's podcast. Today I'm talking about diversity and equity in the education system, specifically advocating for students with varying intellectual abilities. Individuals are categorized into group identities based off a wide range of human qualities and attributes, and according to Sensoy and D'Angelo, these are socially constructed and reflective of a particular political and cultural context. Individuals with a disability or delay often feel isolated, and Jordan Hartling explained that we are often self-blaming when we are in isolation, so if our students feel isolated, they are more vulnerable to depression and self-destructive behaviors when they feel invisible, unheard, and as if they don't matter. As an alternative, Jordan Hartling explained that relational cultural theory emphasizes health, growth, and courage and points to a new understanding of human and individual strength. Strength in relationship, not strength in isolation. Isolation is seen as the source of most suffering, while the process of creating mutual empathy and mutual empowerment is seen as the root out of isolation. Therefore, if we can provide responsiveness to our students, we in turn are facilitating healthy psychological growth, as when they feel like they have been heard, it leads them to feeling valued. And I'm advocating for those students with varying intellectual abilities who may have lost faith in themselves. Sensoy and D'Angelo highlight that we come to know who we are in large part through the process of what others reflect back to us. Individuals of all identities can face microaggressions that can add up and seriously impair an individual's perception of themselves. When or if they hear enough negative comments about themselves, they start to believe what they hear. This starts to lead to a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. And I don't think we highlight enough the immense impact words can have on others. Many students may feel ashamed or embarrassed if they have an IEP or learn a different way than most of their peers. Therefore, I think it's important to highlight and talk about with your students how everyone learns differently, and that's okay. We need to start praising and encouraging students for their hard work and effort, rather than the final product or the speed it takes to complete a task. We need to have high expectations for all our students, regardless of ability. And I truly think this is showing your students that you believe in them, that you know they can achieve these goals. We need to boost our students' confidence levels so they too believe they can achieve great things. And to provide an equitable education, we need to ensure as teachers are provided with resources our students need to succeed. Sartisky explains if administrators and teachers are not being properly and thoroughly trained with adequate knowledge and skills to support the needs of every child in his or her class, this causes a lack of equity and quality education. All our students are their own person with individual differences, and we need to respect those differences and provide accommodations or modifications to ensure all our students have what they need to succeed. Some strategies teachers can use to help create a more equitable and inclusive education are meeting individual needs, using student strengths and interests to teach, identifying and eliminating barriers, promote a sense of belonging, collaborate with other professionals in the fields, continue professional development, to learn new strategies and ways of teaching and learning, discussing equality and diversity in the classroom starting in kindergarten, and build a relationship with the students' parents by involving them in their child's schoolwork and community. It's important to understand that the program design and the teachers can be a determining factor on the parents' ability to interact with the school and their child's education. Parents may not know about the resources available. They might experience difficulty being involved in the school due to the power imbalance between the parents and educator, and our schools lack cultural awareness by not considering cultural differences. This is all backed up by amazing researchers such as Moon Joseph, Gavin Evans, Rossetti, and Burke. As educators, we need to keep parents informed of what is happening in the classroom and invite them to participate in their child's education. I'd really like to highlight that I personally think that having conversations about diversity and equity at a young age, like starting in kindergarten, will benefit all students. I believe it will create a more respectful and inclusive classroom community. We need to have age-appropriate discussions with our students right away, yearly, and continuously. I do not think you can just have one or two conversations and say, okay, well, I met the quota. We talked about diversity and equity. No, you can't do that. Conversations about diversity and equity, I guarantee, will come up in the classroom all the time. You may not be part of all those conversations, but they're happening. And that's why it's so important that as teachers facilitate some of these conversations by highlighting and celebrating our differences, so that when you aren't there to guide a conversation, you can trust that you taught your students the importance of respecting individual differences and that they will respond appropriately and respectfully to their peers and others in their life. Everyone should feel safe when they go to school, feel welcomed, and their differences celebrated. We should all be able to contribute in class and have mutual respect for one another. We can learn so much from each other if we're just willing to listen. Human diversity is a beautiful thing. So remember, believe in your students, and they too will begin to believe in themselves.